And here inside Elland Road, you can hear the famous atmosphere as Manchester United prepare to kick off. Bruno Fernandes is over the ball in the centre circle. Paul Tierney is the referee. He's just making it clear to everyone that the players are taking a knee. So there's mainly applause. It's a slightly mixed reception to that. But this weekend, all matches dedicated to the no room for racism plan. So we have seen the taking of the knee. And Manchester United get the match underway. Immediately the ball's fired forward. A chorus of boos for Harry Maguire in possession. Anyone in a red shirt in possession. As Leeds head it forward and it bounces through to David De Gea and more boos. David De Gea making his 400th Premier League appearance today. The Leeds team, 2 changes. Sinisterra and Struijk are both out, not involved at all. Concussion for Struijk, injury for Sinisterra. So Somerville and Junior Firpo have come in as Sabitzer is very strongly challenged and the ball's out of play for a throw-in for Manchester United. In fact, it is given as a free kick for that challenge on Sabitzer. So the Leeds team, Meslier in goal, Ayling, Koch, Verba and Junior Firpo, Adams and McKennie, Somerville, Harrison and Yonto and Bamford. And Manchester United making 3 changes from the game on Wednesday night, with Garnacho, Martinez and Varane all on the substitutes bench. Jadon Sancho getting his first start for Manchester United since October, after the various problems that he's had, both mental and physical, as Eric Ten Hag said it. So he's starting on the right-hand side, but De Gea in goal, Dalot, Maguire, Shaw and Malacia. So Maguire and Shaw in central defence, then Fred and Sabitzer, Sancho on the right, Rashford on the left, Bruno Fernandes in the middle, behind Wout Weghorst. So Leeds United 0, Manchester United 0. This is BBC Radio 5 Live. Listen to the live radio via BBC Sounds as well, wherever you are on this Sunday afternoon. And Manchester United with a throw-in that Shaw takes back to Maguire. And now it makes its way out to Sancho on the right-hand side, having scored the goal that made it 2-2. And in comes the challenge on him. And what a good one it was from Tyler Adams. He was upended there. Adams took the ball, took the man, and up and down went Jadon Sancho.
Well, that's what the crowd want, isn't it? And Leeds will have talked about this, getting the fans on their side from the off. And if they stay at higher, they really started at a higher tempo at Old Trafford the other night than they have today.
Well, by this time on Wednesday night, Leeds United were already 1-0 up through Anyonto. But that was a real welcome back to the Manchester United starting lineup for Jadon Sancho by Tyler Adams. And that's exactly the sort of thing all of these thousands of faces staring down from the stands of Elland Road want to see in this of all matches. And it is Leeds with the ball on the halfway line. That might have been a foul by Fred, but the ball had already gone. In fact, Paul Tierney's brought it back, actually.
Yeah, Fred
the
took
challenge by Fred
out, didn't he? There's no need for it. Man United look a little bit sluggish. They've started well, the atmosphere's got to them. You wouldn't think that, but Leeds haven't come out the blocks as quick as they did on Wednesday night.
No, they have not. It's not the usual approach that we expect to see. It's usually gung-ho, isn't it? From the off, Ayling, as this free kick forward of the centre circle is taken to him. Ayling hits it long and right-footed, then the cross from the left-hand side. Oh, De Gea loses a touch, and then in comes Somerville, but under pressure, stretching for it. Left foot can only slide it up and over the top of the crossbar.
I've got to say, John, Man United, you would think they'd learnt the lesson the other night. They started very slow, Leeds got all over them, and rightly so took the lead. But again, well, a few days later, Man United started sluggish again. I've just seen Ten Hag really screaming across the field at Sancho and Dalot on the right back there. He's really giving them a lot of verbal there, and they're coming over now. Look, Ten Hag's got Fred to come over. I can't believe that Man United haven't learned from the other night, John. You start a high tempo, big crowd here, fanatical crowd, quiet them down.
And there, cross from the left-hand side. Bamford was at the near post. I'm not sure whether he got a touch or not. In the 6-yard box at the near post, and De Gea, it hit him as he dived for it and bounced out to the arriving Somerville, who couldn't direct it on target. As I say, there were defenders there. But Leeds United 0, Manchester United 0. The two Manchester clubs featuring in our 2 Premier League commentaries on this 5 Live Premier League Sunday. So Manchester City against Aston Villa from 4:30. But here on the eastern side of the Pennines, It is Leeds United, all in white, who break away. Harrison now through the middle to McKennie. Now McKennie passes it behind Somerville, hence the groans. And then Malacia puts in the challenge. The Leeds United fans suggesting that there was a push there by Malacia. However, excellent challenge by McKennie, but the referee stopped play because Malacia has actually fallen awkwardly, and Paul Tierney is saying that he's landed on his head. Therefore, it's a head injury. Therefore, play has to be stopped.
Well, it started a good game again. Leeds are chasing down Man United and they're putting challenges in. They're really keeping the atmosphere electric, aren't they? And Malacia does ever so well to get the ball. He runs away with down the left wing. He overruns it, and it's a crunching tackle by McKennie. I don't see a lot in it. I'm getting a bit of a replay here now. He overruns the ball. McKennie comes from the side. Great tackle. Yes, and he bangs the back of his head on the ground.
Yeah, absolutely nothing wrong with that tackle. Went to the ground, slid in, took perfect. The ball. And so we've got a stoppage here while the medical people are on, and he's lying on his back, Malacia, having come back into the starting lineup for this game, and clearly time is being taken here, and now he sits up, leans forward, and they have to take time, understandably so, and the right decision has to be made. So there's a stoppage in play early in the match. 5 minutes played. Leeds United 0, Manchester United 0. Somerville with that early chance for Leeds. And Michael Skubala, the interim manager, he doesn't even have a column in the programme today, Chris.
I noticed that.
Yeah, which
could be his only home game. He doesn't even get a column.
Doesn't even get a column in the programme. I did feel for him there, but I suppose there are greater things at play. And he's been speaking to the captain, Luke Ayling. Malacia is up. He's walked off the field, and I think he has been given the thumbs up to return. Yes, he is. He's getting a pat on the back, and he trots back onto the field. And Leeds have been given an uncontested drop ball, which they played out of play for a throw-in to Manchester United. So 0-0. Ball back with De Gea, and then Dalot plays it forward, but was being closed down. Fred jumps for it, misses it. Somerville into the challenge with Fred. It bounces for Manchester United. Weghorst still yet to get off the mark in the Premier League for Manchester United. Here he is, the big Dutchman through the middle, the number 27. Square, Fernandes, a couple of touches. Now plays it forward for Sancho on the right, in the box. The cross is blocked by Junior Firpo for Leeds. And Junior Firpo was warned that Weghorst was coming, but he delayed his clearance. So Manchester United back in possession with Harry Maguire on the right wing. And the cross from Maguire isn't great, and was easily cleared away by Leeds on the edge of the area by Weston McKennie, one of the January arrivals, on loan from Juventus, the American World Cup player. So they've got this American midfield pair, McKennie and Adams, that we saw at the World Cup, but no American manager anymore.
No, I mean, he plays Harrison, doesn't he, behind, in that whole summer 10 position. I think he's more effective on the right, mate.
Harrison, yeah.
I would play him on the right. I don't think he's a number 10.
But free kick, you can hear the outrage. Somerville has picked up for a foul, and Manchester United have a free kick 5 or 6 yards inside their own half. Malacia foul, here he is. Just got to keep an eye on him after that awkward fall. Gets a couple of touches on the ball, plays it back to Maguire, and then Maguire to the left-hand side. So both the two central defenders who started on Wednesday, Martinez and Varane scored the own goal, if you remember, are on the bench for Manchester United today. Challenged on Harrison by Sabitzer, one of the Manchester United January rivals.
It's really strange, Sean. Luke Shaw sort of takes a left-back position when United get the ball. Malacia goes actually into midfield with Fred and Sabitzer. He doesn't really play as a left-back.
Manchester United with a touch of the Manchester Cities. Here come Leeds with McKennie down the right-hand side, but it's Fred actually who's covering back in the left-back area, who puts in the challenge out of play for a throw-in to the home side, 10 yards away from the corner flag on the right. Leeds 0, Manchester United 0. Ayling gets the ball back after taking the throw, puts his foot on the ball, chips it forward. Somerville's onto this, low ball into the near post, but the offside flag is up after the return pass to Somerville, and it's a free kick to Manchester United in deep inside their own territory.
We're waiting for this game to settle down a little bit and see a little bit of quality. The players who you expect to get on the ball and show that quality, unfortunately, are not allowed to get on it at the minute because it's such a high tempo.
So Leeds coming into this match just 1 point above the relegation zone, 1 point above Everton. And next weekend, incidentally, Saturday afternoon, it is Everton against Leeds United. Seems like we've got one of those games every weekend at the moment. Manchester United just 2 points behind Manchester City in second place. Great chorus of Yorkshire for this Roses match. I think it's fair to say, Chris, those of us who are from elsewhere in the north of England, I don't know about you, always have a look at this Roses rivalry with a kind of wry amusement as Firpo comes forward down the left-hand side, gives it to Jack Harrison, left-footed ball in from the left, but De Gea's able to come and take it. Bamford trying to get in there, but not within 3 or 4 yards.
Leeds have started very positive, haven't they? They're on the front foot, not as high tempo as they were at Old Trafford midweek, but they look the team more likely to get the first goal.
Sabitzer with his hair tied back, crossfield pass straight into the path of another man with his hair tied back, Luke Ayling in a white shirt, and now Somerville's taking it on down the right hand side. Ayling on the overlap, Somerville goes for the cross, but Fred was in position to block it out of play for a throw-in near the corner flag. But Luke Ayling walking very calmly across to take this. The ball's still sitting on the field. He's waiting for somebody to knock it back to him, which is the case now. So throw-in on the right hand side for Leeds United. 0-0 in this 2 o'clock kick-off in the Premier League. England, Italy and the Six Nations will be underway at 3, and you'll be able to hear that on Sports Extra, so that is the choice on 5 Live and Sports Extra this afternoon. Leeds take the throw, but Manchester United win it back. Fred now playing it forward to Weghorst. Weghorst to Rashford, who was in a very, very prominently offside position, and he just allows it to roll past him.
I'm surprised Weghorst played that ball. Surely he must have looked at Rashford and thought he can't have that much space. He's got to be offside. But we're just waiting for it to settle down a little bit, aren't we? If it will. We'll see a little bit of quality.
Might take a little while.
Oh, yeah, it might take another 20 minutes.
We've been here for these matches before. That's the voice of Chris Waddle, of course. 62 caps for England, and once Britain's most expensive footballer. Manchester United concede a free kick, just a little foul, a tug of the shirt, I think, on Somerville, who's been heavily involved in the early stages. So free kick to Leeds, 3 or 4 yards inside the Manchester United half. Erik ten Hag just wanders forward with his team on what is really a terrific run of form since the Manchester derby, that extraordinary match, the 6-3 back in October. They are on a run where they have lost only 2 of 26 matches in all competitions, but did lose their last away match. I was there to witness it when they were beaten by the leaders, by Arsenal, in that exciting game a couple of weeks ago. And Manchester United losing the ball as they tried to clear the ball away from the back, and then there's a foul on Harrison, just a little trip, and he was sent sprawling onto his knees, and it's a free kick to Leeds in a good position here towards the right side of the box. It
is, it's about 25-30 yards out, right side, yes, it's a good angle to put a cross or a shot. There's a few talking about what they're going to do. There's 5 white shirts around the ball at the minute. They've got no out ball at the minute, Man United. There's nobody running behind. We've not seen anything of Rashford, Sancho. Weghorst is trying to hold the ball up, run out of little joy, but they just can't get up the field.
It's Fred who conceded that. Just a stretch. He caught the ankle of Harrison, took him down. So Somerville and Harrison and Gnonto are together.
Harrison's got to have a shot here. Get the crowd going. Listen, hit the target, make him make a save,
and then see what happens. And the 3 of them are all in discussions. In actual fact, Somerville's got his gloved hand on the shoulder of Harrison's, and Gnonto walks away. Little figure takes up a position in the false wall. So as we're looking at it, and we're right behind the line of this shot, Somerville runs away. Harrison plays it in shot and actually passes it straight to Fred, who clears it on the edge of the box. That wasn't what you were thinking of, Chris.
No, it's disappointing. We'll look at
ball back into the edge of the penalty area. A turn from Koch, but overhits it through for a goal kick.
I don't get it, John. You know, he's 25 yards out. He's got a great left foot, Harrison. Hit the target, make De Gea work. They've tried one off the training ground to the side of the wall, flicks it behind the wall for Somerville. But Man United read it, and it was quite easy to read. Disappointing.
Yes, I can think of someone not a million miles away from where I'm sitting who would have been licking his lips at a free kick in that position.
I can't believe when people say, let's try this and try that. If you can shoot and you can hit the target from where you are, make the goalie work.
sometimes I find in football things are overcomplicated.
Yeah, exactly.
Ball played back to De Gea, who clears it from the penalty area, but an unforced error, chips it straight out of play. Big cheers from over there in the Jack Charlton stand. Leeds fans standing, arms raised high, throw-in taken for Leeds, but Harrison can't get there. Maguire came across, and one or two comments, I think, there, judging by Harry Maguire's reaction as he ran up to the advertising hoardings. The Leeds fans in there, just behind the advertising boards in the Norman Hunter stand, but he's ignored them, probably wisely.
If you play for Man United, you've got to get it every week, aren't you? So.
Yes, you are. Leeds United 0, Manchester United 0. And by the way, the India-Pakistan T20 match that we're following, all of the matches on BBC Radio, or indeed, as is the case today, online. You can listen to that commentary via the BBC Sport website and app. India against Pakistan. Manchester United with the ball on the right-hand side. Comes back in field to Maguire, who turns to his left and gives it to Shaw. Must ask you, we've seen quite a lot of Shaw, haven't we, as a left-sided central defender in recent weeks, and whenever I've seen him, he's done well.
Well, it's a modern game, John. It's not like it used to be, where everybody hit the ball long to a big centre forward, getting the flick-ons and the second balls. It doesn't play like that anymore, the game, does it? So you don't have to be a massive 6 foot plus to play centre half anymore. He's offside. Vegas. He's not had the best start, Vegas, by the way.
No, he hasn't. He coming back, actually dropping back from an offside position. It's actually quite promising from Manchester United until that point, but up went the flag.
They need a runner, John. They've got nobody who runs beyond, and that's where you look at Rashford and Sancho. Use your pace, just take off.
Referees allowed play to continue despite a foul, I think, on Tyler Adams near the halfway line. Harrison, former Manchester United youngster, plays the ball out to the right-hand side here, but Leeds still inside their own half. Now it's over the halfway line to Somerville. Little ball in field, a flick by Harrison, but Somerville saw red shirts all around him and just went back to right-sided defender Robin Koch. Now the other central defender, Wöber, another one of the recent arrivals, Maximilian Wöber, the Austrian international. He plays it forward, but Manchester United back in possession with Shaw, who's got space in front of him as Manchester United playing in the first half. As we look here, Manchester United from right to left, and Shaw's ball over the top just bounces for Junior Firpo.
He's got Rashford 30-40 yards ahead of him, down the channel's on. Rashford's pointing, play it in the space, I'll catch it.
17 minutes played, still just that one big chance really for Somerville that he couldn't direct on target, and that's a foul by Junior Firpo on Jadon Sancho, and he's booked. He dived in there was a bit of force to it. He's caught Sancho. Whether he got the ball, he certainly got the man, and Paul Tierney says, right, yellow card.
Yeah, it's a bad challenge. It's a lunge with his right foot. It comes across onto Sancho's ankle, on his right ankle. Yes, he didn't need that in the game this early, so but yeah, it was definitely a yellow card.
Yeah, so the Leeds left back on a yellow card. Got a yellow card on Wednesday night, didn't he, when he blatantly pulled back Rashford, who was breaking from the halfway line late in the game after he came on as a substitute for the concussed Struijk. So that's the first yellow card of the Roses Premier League match. Ball played away by Ayling, and then it's kept in by Malacia, but Shaw, who's being chased by Bamford and McKennie, has to get there first, which he does comfortably. Plays it to Maguire, now from De Gea to Shaw, who wins a throw-in off McKennie. Throw-in to Manchester United, halfway inside the run.
I just think, can I get Fernandes in the game? Oh, he's a big, massive player, we know that from Man United. In the front three, not looking for the ball enough for me, not hungry enough, not running off the ball enough. Man United get possession at the back quite comfortable, but they've got nothing to hit. There's no runners.
Malacia turning and playing it back to De Gea, who clears. Maguire and Bamford just come together. Bamford goes to ground. You could hear the shouts from the Leeds United fans, but referee Tierney's not interested in that. And now Bruno Fernandes does play that ball over the top that Chris Waddle's been calling for Sancho to chase. Junior Firpo goes with him. Sancho now plays it across. Fernandes in the area, shoots wide. Controlled it. It bobbled a little for him, and he hit it as it came down, but mishit it across the face of goal from 15 yards.
First time we've seen Sancho, and he's definitely got the legs on Firpo, definitely got it. and he's caught it. He's played a lovely weighted pass inside. Fernandes, one touch, takes it in the 18-yard box, drags his shot, doesn't connect with it well. Maybe a yard or two to the left, maybe Weghorst might have got a touch on it, but that was a shot and it went well away. But that shows you the joy Man United will get if these three up front are willing to run in behind.
Remember, Bruno Fernandes scored a hat-trick against Leeds United at Old Trafford early on last season, before all of the disruption began, and has a record of 6 Premier League goals against Leeds United, but mishit that one. Here's Somerville now on the halfway line. He's caught by Fred. He's away there, and immediately the yellow card is out for Fred. It had to be, with Junior Firpo having been booked just a few moments ago. Had Paul Tierney not brought out a yellow card for that, I think, Chris, there would have been uproar.
Yeah, it was a yellow as well, John. He's very late on Somerville, comes inside, good turn of pace, runs inside Fred, and he lunges at him on the outside of the ankle. Definite yellow. And
not only that, it's not his first foul in this game. Came in for a bit of criticism, Fred, not for the first time, from Manchester United supporters for his performance the other evening, but with Casemiro suspended, Fred and Sabitzer on the midfield too. Chance for Bamford, shoots, but that was blocked. So the free kick was taken long into the penalty area, headed across. Bamford went for the shot, but there was a defender there. And now downfield for Manchester United. Sancho chasing, but Meslier running directly towards our commentary position here, cleared the ball out of play into the stand beneath us. Throw-in for Manchester United. Malacia takes it back. Leeds are back in position. Manchester United couldn't get the ball back, actually, otherwise might have taken a quick throw there. But Leeds United Football Club somehow slowed the play down. The ball didn't reappear. That's home advantage. And Manchester United have to take the throw back towards the halfway line. Forward from Maguire. And Verba, that's a mishit clearance. Straight to Bruno Fernandes. Now Sancho on the right-hand side, starting for Manchester United for the first time since October, having come on as a substitute in a couple of the recent games and obviously scored on Wednesday against these opponents. Back it goes though to Shaw on the halfway line. Now Maguire to his right, puts one of his orange boots on top of the ball and then taps it to his right to Dalot, and then Sancho, 2 Leeds players around him, and Yonto got a touch on that, and then Fred is able to get involved in there to make sure Manchester United have the ball ahead of Harrison, and back it goes to the Manchester United goalkeeper David De Gea, out to Shaw, and Shaw now carrying it up towards the halfway line, tapping it to his right to Harry Maguire. Great noise coming out of the Revy stand to our left. Scarves being twirled. Leeds United defending that half in the first half, and it is Manchester United in possession, with Sabitzer just angling a pass back to Harry Maguire. Ball stationary at his feet. Now infield towards Fred. Back to Maguire again. Another short pass. Fred and Maguire again. Short passes to one another. And in the end, Maguire just knocks it across here to the left-hand side to Luke Shaw. And Manchester United are quite happy here just to have possession inside their own half. Maguire passes it through the middle towards Sabitzer. Sancho in a more central position. Fernandes on the right, gives it back to Sancho, runs down into the full-back position. Got a touch on that, but so did Verba for Leeds United, who's able to clear it out for a throw-in nearer the halfway line. So Leeds United 0, Manchester United 0 after a quarter of the match. Just one real chance apiece. Somerville for Leeds United and Bruno Fernandes for Manchester United. Here's Rashford, not really had a chance to have a go at Luke Ayling, and here Ayling goes to ground as Rashford tries to play it past him, and referee Tierney says he was then fouled by Rashford, who was trying to get the ball out from underneath the Leeds captain.
Well, it's the first time we've seen Rashford get one-on-one with Ayling, and he didn't take the ball with him, and unfortunately Ayling robs it off him and he gets pushed to the floor, and it's a free kick. But Man United are struggling to get Rashford on the ball,
which they have to do, particularly given the fact he scored 12 goals in 14 appearances since the World Cup. Marcus Rashford for Manchester United. Here is Harrison though for Leeds, took his eye off it. Malacia came in with a challenge, then it bounces centrally for Adams, and then down goes Bamford, tripped by Bruno Fernandes. The two of them were just racing, sprinting for the ball, and Bamford, I think there was contact, but Bamford won that, made sure he got it.
I think it's Sabitzer, isn't it, who just pulls him down. He just slides, he just trips him up. Bamford, a little touch to the ball, He's got his back to Sabitzer. He just touches it to the angle and he just catches him. And it's basically hit the deck.
Yeah,
You get a free kick. Now, are they going to shoot from here?
You're right, Chris. Sabitzer it was who got the crucial touch. Not too much of a touch, but Bamford knew it. He knew if he went down there, he would get the free kick, and he has. But this is probably 30 yards out.
Still have a shot. Hit the target.
Okay. Let's see. Discussions between Gnonto and Harrison. So Jack Harrison, it is right of centre, so more likely to be the left foot. For Leeds' sake, I hope they make a better job of this than they did the last free kick from a little further in. So Harrison moves away to the right of the ball, raises his right arm. When Gnonto comes up, runs over it, Harrison clips it in, it's headed away by Maguire, doesn't clear the penalty area. Sancho rather slices it clear of the box. Leeds back in possession. Then it's played forward by Harrison to the right-hand side. Somerville is there. Somerville being forced to the halfway line by Fred and passing it back to Meslier, his goalkeeper, who's 5 or 6 yards outside of his penalty area. Long and downfield from Meslier, headed back to Adams. Now Harrison again on his right foot. Harrison's ball over the top. This for Bamford to chase, but Shaw did well. Two of them shoulder together, and Shaw was able to head it away. And then Somerville in on the challenge with Bruno Fernandes.
That was a good challenge.
It's a 50-50.
Yeah, I mean, with how many times we see players hit the ground. Listen, Sancho rolls the ball. It's a little bit short. Well, slightly over the top a little bit. No, he's gone over the top a little bit more. Yeah, I've never thought. So
Somerville.
Yeah, he's lucky not to get a card there.
He actually went in on the challenge, put his foot on top of the ball, and then it slipped over onto Bruno Fernandes. And it is given as a free kick, but no further action than that. Might have been booked at Old Trafford, at Elland Road. He wasn't. Jadon Sancho is being talked to by Erik ten Hag. Amusingly, Luke Ayling actually went across and listened to him.
He joined in, didn't he?
He did. He had a listen.
So what do you think I should do?
He does strike me as a bit of a cheeky chappy, Luke Ayling. Ball's out of play for a throw that is taken by Manchester United over on the far side. Almost half an hour played. Still 0-0. And it is the visitors inside their own half. 6:06 tonight to talk about today's matches, but also the news. If you've just switched on, you're not heard. If you were out last night and haven't heard the news of the day, Southampton have sacked Nathan Jones after only 14 matches in charge. So 6:06 with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. Later you'll be able to talk about that. Manchester United with Maguire playing the ball back to De Gea, long downfield. Leeds have got the ball back. Leeds United, who've not beaten Manchester United here at Elland Road for over 20 years. Long ball forward, but Somerville was coming back from an offside position. Free kick, Manchester United, they take it quickly. Maguire's a long pass over the top, but he's got too much on that, and it just bounces harmlessly through to Meslier in the Leeds United goal. So they start to bring it out from the back with Robin Koch. Low pass from him, but then Bamford tried to play it into the path with McKennie. He says it took a touch off the Manchester United player who was there, and referee agrees. And the assistant, it's given as a Leeds United throw. Somerville down the right, Sancho is back there putting in the tackle. Malacia is there also, and Malacia and Fred, in the end the left-footed Fred clears it away. Koch gets there for the header near the halfway line, just kept in play by Verba down in front of us. And then back to Meslier. Long clearance from the Leeds United goalkeeper. Bamford being challenged by Shaw, who is claiming that he had his arms around him. Fernandes then couldn't find the pass to Rashford, who's just for the moment on the right-hand side. It was blocked. Miss-hit by Fernandes, actually.
I mean, the atmosphere is the best part about the game, John.
It is, yeah. And Gnonto, and then you can hear the atmosphere, because Sabitzer has felled the new favourite here, the teenager, the Italian international. And of course, that's Sabitzer's second foul in a short period of time, but it's just a free kick, no yellow card.
Well, we'll get the benefit of replay. I think he's making a meal of it, personally. Yeah, there's nothing really in it. As I say, they need the game to liven up.
But Sabitzer's now one tackle away from yellow.
Definitely, yeah. He got yellow carded the other night as well, didn't he?
I think he did, yes. Free kick for Leeds on the left-hand side. And Harrison's gone out there to take it. You can't beat this, I have to say, as a neutral sitting in here. When you come to a big football match, which this undoubtedly is, what you need is this sort of atmosphere. And all around, I'm looking around the stands of Elland Road, white scarves being twirled in the air, famous white scarves with the yellow and blue trim. And Harrison waiting to take this free kick. Manchester United keeping a very high line. Harrison plays it in, curling it. Bamford stretching, couldn't get there, headed away on the edge of the box. Ayling then turns it back in, but got right underneath that, and it drifts away over the top of the crossbar for a goal kick. So it's 0-0 here at Elland Road. In the Women's Super League, 3 matches being played today. As you might have heard earlier, it did finish Tottenham 1, Manchester United 2. The latest scores: Brighton 1, Aston Villa 3, and Liverpool 0, Leicester City 1. Manchester United playing it out from the back. And then Harrison cuts out the pass, and Yonto might have been caught by Jadon Sancho. He was, says the referee, and that's been brought back by Paul Tierney, who just waited to see if there was going to be an advantage, but then quickly brought it back.
Yeah, I mean, it's a scrappy game. Atmosphere's electric. We're looking for that bit of quality. Who's got it? I've got to say, Leeds have been probably just shaded it. It's been more on the Man United half, than Man United just can't get out. They've got no runners, they've got no out ball at the minute. So, but Leeds in possession, when they get to the halfway line, are struggling to create anything.
Free kick then that Harrison plays in. Maguire was underneath that on the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away. It's won back by Ayling on the right-hand side, challenged by Malacia. Here's Rashford collecting the ball halfway inside his own half, but he's got no one in front of him over the halfway line now, Rashford. But white shirts have got back in number, and he's cut back onto his right foot, then hits that shot purely through the middle, trying to find the ball to either Bruno Fernandes or Sancho, but it was cut out by Firpo. Now Sancho on the right hand side, he's well challenged. Fernandes tries to cross, that's blocked. Then Bamford is in there, 15 yards inside his own half, and Yonto under pressure has given it away, and Manchester United have got it back. There is a bit of blood and thunder in this game.
I mean, there's a lot of interesting battles going on, Joe. I've got to say, you know, we expected that, but we're looking for that quality. Who's going to block the atmosphere out and play the football?
Blood and thunder. Very often, as our colleague Pat Murphy, I occasionally hear, says, blood and thunder can easily turn into thud and blunder. Here's Rashford. Malacia trying to give it back to him, but that doesn't quite work. But Leeds are in there tight. Ayling's trying to win the free kick. He goes down. There's no whistle. It comes off Ayling, out of play. It's a throw into Manchester United. Ayling's picked the ball up. He won't give it back to Malacia. Malacia's tugging on his shoulder. Ayling reacts to that, towers over Malacia, has words with him. Fred gets involved for some reason. Rashford's now trying to shepherd Ayling away. They're talking to one another. Rashford's got a big smile on his face. Ayling pats him on the back, and referee Tierney says, come here, I'm going to speak to you and Malacia.
That was all down to Ayling. He just had to give him the ball, didn't he? But in modern football, well, in any football, they don't do that, do they? So
he knows what he's doing, though.
He brought it on himself, didn't he? So
he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, exactly.
There's one thing Leeds United know that's in their favour here. It's the crowd.
Yeah,
and that kind of thing. I mean, they don't need whipping up, but it whips them up even more.
Yeah.
Over half an hour played, still goalless here. Manchester United, who are in touch with the top 2. They can't win the league though, can they, Chris, this season? Manchester United?
That's a big ask, isn't it?
Well, second if they win.
Yeah, they've played well. They've had a terrific run. But this is the sort of game you've got to win if you want to win the league.
Yeah. And let's not forget, at the start of this season, with the World Cup almost in the middle of it, it's Manchester United come through the middle. Sabitzer plays it forward to Sancho, now to Rashford, left side of the box, still in the area, white shirt's in there, tries to cross it, hits Ayling, loops back into the full-back position. Rashford is there, gets a shove in the back. Ayling in with a challenge to put it out of play, throwing to Manchester United near the corner flag. Ball in the box with Rashford, yet Manchester United didn't end up even with an attempt on goal. Rashford picked the ball up off the pitch. Malacia's already ready with another ball to take the throw in, and says to Rashford, come on, back onto the field. And he takes the throw back towards the halfway line. And now Luke Shaw who's clipped by Adams, and it's a free kick to Manchester United. Yes, this season, at the start of the season, don't forget we said that with that World Cup, all sorts of unexpected things could happen this season. And that actually, in many cases, is proving to be the case. And Maguire's caught in possession by Harrison. Ball bounces into the full-back position. Harrison's onto it. He's into the box, but Maguire gets a foot on it as Harrison tried to get past him, and he makes up for his earlier mistake. And then Malacia keeps it in, and Leeds man is down off the field, and the referee has blown up, while the Leeds player is going to receive some treatment.
Harry Maguire there, dawdling on the ball. Obviously, I've not played enough football, as you could say. But you know, Harrison had to get onto his left foot, John. And give Maguire credit, he knew that. He wasn't brave enough to take a shot with his right foot. All right, difficult angle, but hit it with your right foot. He had to get back on his left foot. Maguire reads it ever so easily. I don't know what happened there. Adams, yes, I don't know what's happened there.
He's got a bang in the face, so there's a bit of blood, so he's going to have that seen to. Although he's off the field at the moment, he is actually off the field.
Well, there you go.
So play could continue.
Yeah, it was we just saw it. It was a trailing arm
by
Malacia, and it just caught him. It was nothing. He didn't mean it. It was nothing intentional. So,
and he's actually stepped back onto the field while he receives his treatment. So it's a free kick. But you know the point I'm making about the unexpected this season, unlike any other. And I always think that when people say, what's happened to Liverpool? What's happened to Liverpool this season? A, they were so close to a quadruple last season, and B, they're playing in a season that had the World Cup in the middle of it. So therefore, I think you have to consider that as part of the argument about what's happening at Liverpool and indeed other clubs as well. Leeds United 0, Manchester United 0. Plenty going on at Manchester City this week. I think there'll be a lively atmosphere there today against Aston Villa, and I think in the context of this week, Aston Villa, you would say, would do very well to get anything out of that match today, but we will see. You'll hear that with Vicky Sparks and Clinton Morrison from 4:30. Leeds 0, Manchester United 0, play back underway, and Adams back on the field for Leeds. He has Rashford on the left-hand side, but Leeds are watching him very, very closely. They had 3 men near to Rashford there. Square to Dalot. Dalot to the right-hand side, gets it down, and up towards Sabitzer, who's coming back from an offside position, it looked like, but there's no flag. And now Sancho again. Sancho tries to go between 2 Leeds players. Firpo stepped in, got a foot on that. Cross from Dalot into the Leeds box. That's a stretch and a header away from Robin Koch. Out to Rashford, closer to the halfway line. Malacia does well. Then Bruno Fernandes back to Rashford. Leeds United stepping away. Somerville puts in a challenge, and as Rashford went past him, Ayling was able to come in and clear the ball away. More cheers for Luke Ayling. And now Dalot to the right of the centre circle. Long right-footed ball. Malacia can't reach that. It bounces just beyond him, but skips away through for a goal kick to Leeds United. Chris Waddle.
I think Man United, when they get over the halfway line, they're trying to force the issue, and instead of, Leeds have dropped deep. They've got 11 men behind the ball. Just keep the ball, drag them out, make them work, Leeds. Make them come and get the ball. They're going for them glory balls all the time, Man United, from 40, 50 yards, and then it's just not happening.
Leeds United 0, Manchester United 0. Leeds play the goal kick out from the back to Verba. Now Junior Firpo to Nyonto. Flick from him. Harrison's out there as well, still inside his own half. Harrison is being put under pressure and he's lost possession, and Sancho plays it to Fernandes, and Bruno Fernandes being chased by Adams into the box, now into the full-back position, back into the area, cuts it back, headed by Koch, takes a double deflection, loops across the area, Ayling leaves it, and it bounces up nicely for goalkeeper Meslier.
Well, I think Fernandes could have played the ball in a little bit earlier than what he did. It was a terrific run. He definitely got the better of Adams, but he delayed his cross. Man United are just starting to play in the Leeds half, which I've not seen.
Still 0-0, and again Leeds playing it out from the back, and Nyonto, Verba, and forward from him. Sabitzer dives forward and heads it forward to Rashford, who got enough on that, to Bruno Fernandes, who goes for goal, went for a sort of dink, but didn't catch it, and Meslier was able to leap to his left and make the save.
Yeah, Rashford rolls the ball and stayed on the ground, injured Rashford. Yellow card coming out to McKennie. Well, the challenge on Rashford, but You could see what Bruno Fernandes was trying to do. He saw Amelia right off his line, about 8-10 yards. He's trying to chip him. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. But Man United are coming into this game.
So yellow card for McKennie for that foul on Rashford in the build-up to that. But Fernandes, he was cute, too cute, actually.
Yeah, he didn't catch it well.
And it came off the defender as well.
He didn't catch it right at all, though.
No. Rashford's receiving some treatment, so we'll need to keep an eye on that. Bruno Fernandes is, as he likes to, chatting away to the referee. And Rashford, they're having a look at his, I think it's his right leg. Was it the way that he fell? McKennie sort of came in at pace and he leapt over it, he hurdled the challenge, but whether it was how he went down or whether he was just clipped, I'm not entirely sure.
Well, to me it didn't look like any contact, but it could have been an awkward landing, but yeah, I didn't see any contact.
Well, he's got his right sock pulled down and he's being led off the field, so there'll be a little stoppage because he's got to walk from the middle of the half. 5 minutes of the first half to go. Leeds United 0, Manchester United 0. We'll be looking ahead to Manchester City Aston Villa at half-time in the Scottish Cup as well. 4 o'clock kickoff for Rangers against Partick Thistle. Live sport on 5 Live tonight, by the way, if you're into your American sport, the Super Bowl. Vernon Kay is leading our coverage. He's in Arizona for the Super Bowl tonight. That's on 5 Live from 11 o'clock tonight until the middle of the night, so you might want to go to bed with that. And then tomorrow morning, more England T20 cricket from South Africa as England play against Ireland from 10:45 in the morning. Here, Premier League football. Leeds United 0, Manchester United 0. Maguire heading it forward to Bruno Fernandes. Rashford comes back onto the field. Ayling intercepts. Ayling then to Adams in the centre circle to his left. Junior Firpo is there. Harrison makes a run, gets there ahead of Sabitzer. Then Adams might have been caught by Bruno Fernandes. Harrison now all very tight on the left-hand side. In comes the challenge from Sabitzer to put it out of play for a throw-in to Leeds, almost at midway point of the Manchester United half. Flicked on by Bamford, bounces down. Dalot is hoping it would run, it didn't, so he had to knock it across into the 6-yard box for De Gea. And then Weghorst is firmly challenged by Verba, who then heads it forward again. Harrison tries to get it down, Sabitzer puts in the challenge, bounces across to Sancho, and now Somerville on the right-hand side. And Somerville with 2 Manchester United players. Rashford goes for it, Somerville's away, Malacia goes with him, so he checks back onto his left foot. Now the ball's stationary. Here's the overlapping run from Ayling. Ayling with a cross, comes off Malacia. Was the final touch off Ayling? It was. Goal kick.
Somerville's got I think he's got the legs on Malacia down that right-hand side, but he keeps coming back and waiting for him to beat him again. He can get away from him, get your cross in.
But it's, as you would expect, it's a match that's been so fiercely contested in every area of the field. Leeds 0, Manchester United 0. 2.5 minutes of the first 45, plus added time to come. Manchester United, as we were discussing earlier, go to Barcelona this week. You'll hear that, by the way, on 5 Live Thursday night, the commentary in the Europa League. And Verba comes across with a challenge, and then Somerville was caught by Malacia, and right on the halfway line, whether he just caught him maybe on the back of his ankle, but there was an exaggerated reaction from Somerville, which I think Paul Tierney will be taking into account. Well, and it's just a free kick and a talking to from Malacia.
He's caught him on top of his foot, Joe. He actually went with the ball. He was just a bit late. Somerville was a little bit too quick for him. He just takes the ball away, and he ends up trips him up, really. He doesn't even trod on his foot.
And it was an exaggerated reaction, and Paul Tierney's got that right. Just a free kick, headed back by Malacia to Somerville in the box. Somerville shoots, good save to here. Still Somerville, and somehow Manchester United have blocked it. And Somerville did exceptionally well there. First of all, to get away from Malacia, to get the shot in. De Gea had to throw out a hand, and he made a stop with his right hand from the shot on the corner of the 6-yard box. Bounced down, could have gone anywhere, hit Maguire, and Manchester United were, I think, quite relieved to get it away.
Well, he's been quite bright down this right-hand side, Somerville, but you looked at end product, John. You looked at what actually has he created, what could he have done. If he just did things a little bit earlier, it could really cause Man United problems.
Now, the booze for Fred, who's been fouled by Bamford, and he's, I think, nearly exaggerated that as well, and he's taken his while to get onto his feet, and just a free kick, typical of the match that we've seen. 45 minutes to play, and this is right out of the great history and rivalry there's been between these two clubs. So Leeds 0, Manchester United 0. The first half of few chances. Weghorst heading it forward. Well, that intercepted for Leeds. Here's Harrison now, bounces to Adams. Adams is able to get the pass up to Bamford. And Bamford upended by Harry Maguire inside his own half. Harry Maguire runs away. I think it's just going to be a free kick, although Paul Tierney is pointing to Harry Maguire. 3 minutes of added time to be played at the end of the first half. I can't remember too many fouls by Maguire, and he's actually calling across both Bruno Fernandes and Maguire. I don't know what Bruno Fernandes is involved in that for, whether he said something.
Yeah. Well, it's not like Bruno Fernandes to say something to a referee, is it?
He'd be murder, wouldn't he, to play with? Oh, Bruno Fernandes. I mean, great player to play.
Oh, he is a great player.
But in terms of...
Never stops moaning at the referee, does he?
No, yeah. We know one or two like that, don't we? Oh! Verba has been dispossessed by Bruno Fernandes, who's into the box and shoots into the legs of Meslier, who makes the save crucially. The ball just didn't seem to run for him in the box. Bruno Fernandes still got the shot in, but again rather mishit it, as he did with his earlier chance, and the goalkeeper was able to block it with his legs.
He's got no excuse. Probably he had too long. He probably needed his mind made up. He's looked, he's touched it again, and it's a great save with the right foot. Meslier just pushes it wide for a corner, but best opportunity of the game.
Yeah, he blocked the clearance of Verba, who would have been without question the man at fault if that had ended up in the back of the net. Corner though, Shaw takes it in, it's bounced all beyond the far post. There was a double deflection on the edge of the 6-yard box. They're all appealing to the referee. Good luck Paul Tierney to pick out who got the final touch there, and he has given it as another corner. Who was the final touch? I mean, there were 3 or 4. I think it did hit a Leeds man finally.
I think it Ayling. And it comes off Ayling.
Yeah, and bounced. I mean, that could easily have gone in.
Could have went in the bottom corner.
Yeah, and Rashford was there.
Yeah, just a little bit late.
A yard away from it, maybe. So it's a second consecutive corner. These are the first corners of the match. Shaw took the first one from the left, and he's going to take this one from the right. In it swings, headed away by Verba, not out of the box. Fred's there. Rashford with a touch with his back to goal. It bounces down and Leeds can clear. Adams just clicks it away downfield, and there's no one there in white. They had everyone back defending, so Manchester United have got it inside their own half. We're in added time at the end of the first half. If you've just switched onto us on 5 Live and BBC Sound, long downfield from De Gea, headed away by Koch. Now Somerville on the right-hand side. Somerville running away from Weghorst, who's chasing him. Still going Somerville. Defenders backing back, and then it's overhit through by Somerville for a goal kick.
I know he's a young player, Somerville. He's got a lot of potential, but his decision-making, he needs to work on that. You know, he can go past plays. He's got terrific pace and balance, but his decision-making is very, very poor.
Leeds United 0, Manchester United 0. And there is the half-time whistle. That chance right at the end was the big one for Manchester United, for Bruno Fernandes. But, you know, as I say, the ball just didn't seem to roll, and he had to drag it, which took it wide, and then in the end shot into the legs of Meslier. But he's had Manchester United's 2 chances. Somerville's had the 2 for Leeds, but that's been about it. But yeah, I mean, brilliant atmosphere, as you say, Chris.
I would say the atmosphere's been better than the game. Let's put it that way. I think we've seen a couple of good chances. Man United should have took the lead with Fernandes, and the 2 corners they had could have easily got 2 goals. Somerville's been a bit of a threat down his right-hand side, but overall, we need a little bit more quality.
Yeah, but they go to the Nou Camp on Thursday. I'll tell you one thing, the atmosphere in the Nou Camp won't be as good as it's been at Elland Road.
No, you're not beating today. There's not many better than this. So,
goalless first half. Let's hope that we do see 1 or 2 or more in the second. But Leeds United 0, Manchester United 0, as Elland Road has a breather.
Chris, it sounds absolutely fantastic. That atmosphere would have been punctured if Fernandez had scored. What a save from Illan Meslier.
Yeah, he's. It's been. Let's be honest. It's been a scrappy game and a lot of fouls, a lot of stop-starts. The players who we want to get on the ball and show their skills, unfortunately, are not today. The atmosphere has been electric. We're looking for a lot more quality in the second half. Listen, it's just as soon as somebody puts 2 or 3 passes together as a stoppage, is a foul, and you can see how the game's going. So we're waiting for a little bit of brilliance.
We talked a lot, John, about Sancho before the game. We've spoken a lot in recent weeks about Nonto. But it's great to see Silencio Somerville back doing what he can do, albeit still looking for that end product.
Yeah, and that's been the main point of attack down the left-hand side. We've seen relatively little of Iñonto on the other side. And similar really for Jadon Sancho. It's been flashes, but no more than that. But that's because it's been this type of game.
John, Chris, thank you very much for the time being. Fantastic atmosphere at Elland Road. Leeds United 0, Manchester United 0. Of course, we'll bring you second half commentary. Latest scores for you in the Women's Super League. Half-time, Brighton 1, Aston Villa 5. Villa continuing their great run of late. They were actually 1-0 down after 3 minutes, but 2 for Jordan Nobbs, 1 for Rachel Daly. Hansen and Lucy Staniforth have scored the goals there. The other latest scores for you, Liverpool 0, Leicester City 1. Leicester bottom of the table, only 1 win all season. That one is just approaching half-time. And of course, earlier it finished Tottenham 1, Manchester United 2. So Manchester United going top of the WSL table, 1 point above Chelsea, having played a game more than Emma Hayes' side. We'll get a Super Bowl preview. We'll be in Arizona for that shortly. Much more to come as well ahead of Manchester City versus Aston Villa. We'll make our first trip to the Etihad and we'll continue the build-up to the Six Nations. You're getting a choice of listening at 3 o'clock. Second half commentary of Leeds Man United here on 5 Live. England, Italy in the Six Nations on 5 Sports Extra. That's all to come after the news with Carl Hartley.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The number of people confirmed to have died in Turkey and Syria after earthquakes there has risen to more than 33,000. Aid has been arriving in the region, but the UN says the international community has failed the people of Syria because not enough help has reached the country. Kieran Barnes is from Mersey Corps, working to get aid in.
There are NGO workers on the ground. We need the financial resources from the international community to procure the goods, to hire more staff, to scale up to this event. And unfortunately, after a week, we're really not seeing enough of that, or not at the level that it should be.
Officials in Turkey say 113 arrest warrants have been issued in connection with the construction of buildings that collapsed in Monday's earthquake. Turkish police have already taken at least 12 people into custody, including building contractors. The chair of the BBC, Richard Sharp, insists he did nothing wrong as he faces pressure to resign after a critical report from MPs into his appointment. A committee of ministers say he made significant errors of judgment, acting as a go-between on a loan for Boris Johnson while applying for the post. Labour say his position is increasingly untenable. A teenager has been charged following disorder outside a hotel housing asylum seekers on Merseyside on Friday night. Police say 14 other people who were arrested have been released on bail pending further inquiries. And the Russian militia group Wagner says its forces have captured a village on the northern outskirts of Bakhmut in Ukraine. It's been at the centre of brutal fighting between Ukrainian and Russian forces for months. Ukraine hasn't confirmed the loss of the village.
Exclusive performances by your favourite artists. Together with the BBC Concert Orchestra. From classic tracks to brand new covers.
I got this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric wavy when I turn it on.
Radio 2's Piano Room. Watch on iPlayer, listen on BBC Sounds. This is 5 Live Sport
with Steve Crossman.
The team's just beginning their long walk from the tunnels at Twickenham. We're going to bring you live commentary on 5 Sports Extra from the Six Nations of England versus Italy. We'll take you back there shortly as well. Later tonight, the Philadelphia Eagles take on the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl 57. You'll hear that tonight at 11 p.m. on 5 Live. Greg Brady, Christian Scotland-Williamson and Vernon Kay are there for us.
This is exciting because we've got probably one of the most competitive Super Bowls we've had in a long, long time. The two best teams, one from the AFC and one from the NFC, are going head-to-head tonight in Phoenix. And, Greg, it's going to be one heck of a game.
It's hard to see how it isn't going to be. I know the Super Bowl had that reputation for a lot of blowouts in the 80s and 90s. It was often the NFC team beating the AFC team. It was John Elway losing big Super Bowls, Jim Kelly losing 4 in a row. It's really difficult. I mean, obviously the odds makers have this at, around 1.5 or so, which really tells you that it's a very difficult game to pick. And you've got a team that's been there, done that in Super Bowls against an Eagles team that was here 5 years ago, Vern. But most of the players are brand new. They have absolutely turned this program over, put almost a revolving door of talent, and brought a lot of good young, on their first contract players in for the Philadelphia Eagles. So. Can't wait for the game to start. If we get as good a game as we got last year in LA with the hometown Rams against the Bengals, I'll be pretty satisfied. That was a coin flip until the fourth quarter also.
Yeah, absolutely. Christian, American football is basically chess with very, very big men. And the kings on the board are the quarterbacks. And the two quarterbacks that we have playing for the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles are very, very special.
Incredible. I think you look at what this means even to black quarterbacks starting in this game and how far this means that the game has progressed. And then you also look at the skill level. Patrick Mahomes, number 15, can do pretty much everything that he wants with the football. And then you have Jalen Hurts, who's been doubted and is the real talisman of this team, the leader who's come to the fore after being a second-round doubted draft pick, and now he's got the chance to win a Super Bowl.
A lot of people are talking about the Super Bowl because when the Super Bowl comes around, it's kind of the one and only time that a lot of people in the UK talk about the Super Bowl. Greg, just quickly, tell us why this game is so special and why it draws our attention in particular.
It's grown so much. I mean, it's always meant something to me watching as a little boy. I'm sort of born in the 70s, grow up in the 80s, become an adult in the 90s person, and I cannot believe the exponential growth it's had internationally. Obviously, when I was growing up, baseball and the World Series were a bigger sport. They call it America's pastime for a reason. The NFL has just shot through all ceilings, all expectations. And guys, I'd point out as well, it hasn't been without its controversy. It hasn't been without its detractors. It's a violent sport. At times there have been, issues with players off the field. It just seems impenetrable in terms of stopping its growth. And I look and I also think we might be a world of shorter attention span. What was your question again? We've got shorter attention spans. So the idea that you only have to follow a team, Vern, as well, this sport, 17 times a year. You don't have to follow it 82 times or 38 Premier League matches or 162 baseball games. I think that factors in so you can really dig in on a game day, and this is the ultimate game day.
Yeah, let's line up these two teams then, Christian. Let's get into it because, like I said, both these teams are the winners of their conferences, the American Football Conference and the National Football Conference. Let's put them head to head. Okay, where do you see the strengths first for the Philadelphia Eagles?
I know everyone's talking about the strength of the offensive line and the defensive line, but actually I think the matchup's in the skill position. I think that the Philadelphia Eagles definitely outmatch and outgun the Kansas City Chiefs in terms of the receiver power. I know that the Chiefs have Travis Kelce, but beyond that, it's been very inconsistent and unreliable, whereas you've got A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, and Dallas Goedert, who arguably are a matchup that would cause a nightmare for any team, let alone a young secondary that the Kansas City Chiefs have.
Greg, the Kansas City Chiefs. The floor is yours.
Well, I just look and I think that there's a real sense of experience there. And Christian's right. The loss of Tyreek Hill should be enough to... He's maybe the most skilled wide receiver in the sport. I can listen to a Justin Jefferson argument in Minnesota, but I would look and I think the fact they've been able to really not have production limited. They've also got a target on their back. Everybody knows they're the Kansas City Chiefs, whether they make the Super Bowl every year or not. And so you're going to play your best game against them. We saw that with the Chargers this year. The LA Chargers lost 2 games by a field goal each to them because they're trying to bring their best against Kansas City.
Greg Brady, Christian Scotland Williamson and Vernon Kay. That stadium in Arizona will sound fantastic. Ellen Road is sounding brilliant. Let's hear the noise of Twickenham. We are seconds away from live commentary of England versus Italy on 5 Sports Extra. Sonia McLaughlin.
The stage is set, players are ready, kick-off is imminent as England look for their first win of the Steve Borthwick era. The midfield, a conundrum no more, the decision made, Captain Owen Farrell restored as chief playmaker at 10 for the first time in 2 years. Marcus Smith dropped to the bench, Farrell lines up alongside Ollie Lawrence and the fit-again Henry Slade, whose distribution skills and kicking ability were referenced by Borthwick this week. Jack Willis starts at open side 2 years after wrecking his knee in the same fixture. England with a dynamic bench set to inject some serious pace. That includes the returning Henry Arundel, the youngster who reminds Farrell of Jason Robinson, no less. Italy, ever improving, beat Australia in the autumn and ran France close last week. We've got genuine jeopardy. Should be good this. The ball's just been pumped in the air. We're underway.
Sonia, thank you very much indeed. Live commentary then right now on 5 Sports Extra here on 5 Live. Second half commentary on the way from Ellen Road, Leeds versus Manchester United. Sonia will keep us up to date here then on 5 Live from the rugby. What about the cricket going on right now? India, Pakistan in the Women's T20 World Cup. Adam Mountford.
Yeah, fast start from India, 27 without loss in the 4th over, although Shafali Verma has just been reprieved by the third umpire after she was given out LBW. But they face a challenging target here, Steve. 150 in this hotly anticipated fixture. They don't have star opener Smriti Bandana, but they still have plenty of firepower in their lineup, the likes of Bhatia, Harmanpreet Kaur and co. Pakistan's 149 for 4, helped by an unbroken 81-run partnership between Pakistan captain Bismar Maharouf, who made 68, and exciting 18-year-old Ashaja Nazim, who was blasted 43 from 25 balls. India need 123 from 96 in front of a raucous crowd here at Newlands.
Adam, thank you very much. Let's go to the Etihad, our base at 4:30 for full commentary of Manchester City versus Aston Villa. Vicky Sparks, your commentator. Good afternoon, Vicky.
Good afternoon, Steve.
Do you know what, Vicky? We've just been hearing about the State Farm Stadium, which we'll get for the Super Bowl, which is going to sound incredible. We're live at Ellen Road. We're live on 5 Sports Extra at Twickenham. But the Etihad, given what's happened over the course of the last few days, is going to be something today, isn't it?
I think this is going to be fascinating, Steve. I was interested as well to see whether Pep Guardiola addressed those breaches of financial regulations that Manchester City have been charged with. City, as we've covered all week on 5 Live, stressing their innocence, and Pep Guardiola in that pre-match press conference saying that he is fully convinced they will be proven innocent. He doesn't touch on that at all in the programme notes, but he said it all, didn't he? In that remarkable press conference, their achievements will always belong to them, and he was asked about that. No one can remove it, the feelings, the good moments, the bad moments. And I think this is particularly interesting, Steve, given what he said a few weeks ago, which I'm sure people will remember well, after they beat Tottenham, where he really hung the players and the fans out to dry and spoke about that desire to win from the first minute that he wanted to see, and playing football with the stomach and the guts as well as the skill. And coming off the back of this, I mean, we have to say, of course, it's been a hugely distressing and stressful week for Manchester City fans as much as anything. But for Pep Guardiola, it is something, and you could tell in his press conference the way that he addressed it. And he could have said, I'm not going to comment, the investigation will be ongoing, but he didn't. He tackled it head on. He underlined his commitment to the club, his belief in the club, creating the siege mentality. And I think we will get a taste of that at the Etihad this afternoon.
I wonder how Villa will approach that and Unai Emery. I mean, they're going very, very well, especially away from home. 3 wins in a row.
Yeah, they are indeed. I mean, their defeat last match against Leicester was their first loss in 5 Premier League games. Emery has never beaten Pep Guardiola in 12 previous meetings, drawn 4, lost 8. But as you say, he's doing a great job there, isn't he? And I think it's one of these where he will have looked at what unfolded and thought, well, quite apart from what's going to happen off the pitch to Manchester City, on the pitch, this poses a problem for us, because it's going to give them this galvanisation that Pep Guardiola has been crying out for in recent weeks. And suddenly this game has a very different feel about it, and it will do for Aston Villa as well, as much as Manchester Manchester City.
Vicky, thank you very much. So that'll be our focus from 4 o'clock onwards. Manchester City versus Aston Villa live on Premier League Sunday. If you head over to 5 Sports Extra right now, you'll be listening to an England-Italy scrum with Italy having the put-in. That one is going to be a fantastic listen on 5 Sports Extra, but that sound tells you exactly where we're staying on 5 Live on Premier League Sunday. Leeds versus Manchester United at Ellen Road, and Chris Waddle is with correspondent John Murray.
Yes, the teams are just coming back onto the field, Steve. Should mention as well that there is a dark side to the atmosphere inside the ground. It's difficult for us to hear it with our headphones on in the commentary position, but downstairs in the press benches, I know that, for example, Henry Winter of the Times has mentioned that he's heard Munich chants and Istanbul chants from the 2 sets of supporters. So those people who've been involved in that are not covering themselves in glory. In fact, it is totally unacceptable, and it is terrible behaviour to do that. Insensitive and unacceptable, if that is indeed the case. And so we don't want that. We do want the good side of the atmosphere in the second half. And Leeds United get the second period underway. The score: Leeds United 0, Manchester United 0. No changes as the ball is played forward from the back for Leeds, who are playing from right to left in the second half towards the Revy stand. David De Gea just looking over his shoulder at them. Leeds with Meslier in goal, Ayling, Koch, Verba and Firpo, McKennie and Adams, Somerville, Harrison and Yonto and Bamford. And Manchester United with De Gea, Dalot, Maguire, Shaw and Malacia. Then Fred and Sabitzer. Sancho on the right. That's a foul on Shaw by Bamford. Free kick for Manchester United. So Rashford on the left, Sancho on the right, and Weghorst through the middle, and Bruno Fernandes playing behind Weghorst. So Manchester United have the ball inside their half. Leeds in the almost all-white kit, the famous kit, here at Ellen Road. Manchester United, red shirts, black shorts and black socks with the red trim. And the ball with Harry Maguire, just his 5th start in the Premier League this season. Harry Maguire, his 9th start in all competitions this season. The Manchester United club captain in possession again, playing the ball infield. Sabitzer stretching for that. And now Luke Shaw, who managed to get between 2 Leeds players, but then lost it. McKennie up towards Somerville, edge of the area. Somerville shoots, and De Gea down to his left. Pushes it away, wide and behind. That might have gone across him from Somerville there, but instead it went to his left, and he was able to react and push it behind.
Sloppy play by Man United early in the second half, and Somerville, who I thought was the bright spark for Leeds in the first half, does he think early this time? He does everything right, turns, gets a shot off early.
And David De Gea, who saved from him late in the first half, is able to save well and concede what is Leeds United's first corner of the match, actually. Harrison takes short, and Yonto is out there, and Yonto's cross, which is headed up and over by McKennie, and it is over by a yard and a half.
I mean, it's a short corner. They've worked on set pieces. Leeds, it's a deflection, and McKennie gets above Maguire, but can't. It might even come off his back or his shoulder. I'm not sure if it come off his head. Come off his arm.
Right. However, it went over. That's the significant thing. So Leeds 0, Manchester United 0. And just to restate, underline, you now have a choice of listening. Premier League here on 5 Live, 6 Nations on Sports Extra. The England-Italy match, it is 0-0, but we'll keep you updated here as Somerville brings the ball forward. Ayling's ball from the right, and a stab wide at the near post by Harrison. The ball coming across him, and he actually went for it with his left foot, tried to slice it in, but hit it wide by a yard.
Well, Somerville again, terrible play by Harry Maguire at the back, coming out, trying to diagonal ball, doesn't connect with it right. Somerville picks up, drives at them, lovely little ball, again, good decision making. Little flick, Harrison was never going in. Wade, terrible start the second half by Man United, too slow.
And therein lies the problem with Harry Maguire again. You know, this is where it's fallen down from, hasn't it? I don't know, Chris, what you think is, what's the best course of action for Harry Maguire? Clearly I
just don't think the way Man United play under Ten Hag suits him.
Yeah.
You know, he likes to play higher, he likes to press. Harry Maguire, we know he's not blessed with a lot of pace.
De Gea's given it away to Somerville. Somerville now to Bamford. Bamford couldn't get it past Fred, who was able to put in the challenge, racing back into his area. Bamford trying to drag it forward, but Fred got there first. That's a big missed opportunity for Leeds.
That's 2, 3 in the court, count in the corner. That's 3 or 4 opportunities. Man United are still in the changing room. I don't know what he said to them. I don't know if his tactics are that boring and fell asleep. They've got to wake up.
Don't think there will be from Eric Ten Hag, the way he speaks, as Bamford challenged from behind by Maguire, and Leeds take it on, but the referee's brought it back, and Manchester United well, Harry Maguire's gone to the referee, Weghorst having a word as well, and the referee, Paul Tierney, didn't like that from Weghorst, and he's going to call Weghorst back, and now I think Harry Maguire's saying that Bamford backed into him. And Bamford's saying, I've got a stiff neck from that challenge from Maguire. So it's a free kick for Leeds. Weghorst is kicked off verbally. And it's a free kick for Leeds on the left-hand side. So 4 minutes played in the second half. Still England 0, Italy 0. Also, by the way, in the Premiership Rugby Cup semi-final earlier, it finished Exeter 46, Sale 3. So that's over.
35 yards on line with the 18-yard box, isn't it? I mean, the high line Man United's got. You don't have to put a lot of pace on this. Just hit the penalty spot. You don't have to put any pace on it.
Harrison's going to curl it across to the left, which he does now, headed away from near the penalty spot by Fernandes. Ayling tries the shot. Oh, I think it took a deflection. It did. De Gea diving to his left. He's going wide, but deflected wider off the United shirt.
Luke Shaw, was it? Yes, Luke Shaw. Oh, nearly went in the bottom corner. Went through his legs, hit the inside of his foot, nearly went in the bottom corner.
Well, they scored that strange goal, didn't they, the other night? That hit Varane and went in at the near post. So it is a corner to Leeds from the far side. Good pressure from the home side, the Premier League strugglers. And here's the corner. Harrison swings it into the danger area, headed away by Maguire. De Gea went for it, but it was the defender's header that took it away and cleared the penalty area. And it bounces away to the halfway line, where Kyler Adams is there to play it back to Meslier, who's been a spectator with his long grey socks up over his knees in the second half. Long from him, headed forward by Bamford, and then hooked away by Malacia. Comes out, McKennie tries to slip it through, that's blocked on the edge of the area, bounces back into the full-back position. Somerville's after it, keeps it in play. Two Manchester United players are with him, and he dragged it into Fred, and then the final touch, even though Leeds think it should be a corner, referee Tierney says the final touch that took it behind was off Somerville.
Both didn't know there, Joe. The linesman was looking at the referee, and the referee think, put your flag up one way or the other, and he didn't. The referee made the decision.
I've just seen it. I think it was the wrong decision. Should have been a corner. It was on the blind side of the assistant. Luke Shaw's kicked the ball off the field, but it's hit the advertising hoardings and bounced back on, much to the amusement of the Leeds fans in the Jack Charlton stand. And Manchester United take a short goal kick. So 0-0 here at Elland Road. Is it the same at Twickenham? Sonia McLaughlin?
It is, John. England 0, Italy 0. It's the forwards who've been doing the heavy lifting at the minute with a succession of scrums. Max Malin's fingertips away from a try in the right-hand corner, but he was it was a knock-on instead. Owen Farrell at 10 already got head strapping on. He's channeling his inner Terry Butcher. It's England 0, Italy 0.
Chris Waddle's old teammate, our old friend. So you can hear that on Sports Extra. England, Italy, Six Nations television highlights will be on BBC 2 tonight at 6, and then the Rugby Union Weekly will actually be on 5 Live at 8 o'clock tonight. You'll be able to hear it on BBC Sounds if you fail to catch it tonight. Now
we're getting a replay of it. Yeah,
Bruno Fernandes is down.
Listen, there's a little contact in his face, but nothing. Let's be honest. I mean, he sat down, they took the throw in, they played on Man United. Harry Maguire's had to kick the ball out while he doesn't need any treatment.
So he's sitting, receiving treatment. No further action here. Back to Twickenham, Sonia.
Yeah, where it's England 5, conversion to come, Italy 0, the old-fashioned line-out, catch, drive, the England pack heaving was what the crowd said forward, and it was Jack Willis with the score. His first game for England in 2 years in this same fixture in 2021. He wrecked his knees, only just back. He scored for England. What a moment for him. England 5, Italy 0, conversion to come.
Leeds United 0, Manchester United 0. Bruno Fernandes just wanders off the field. He's going to be able to come back on. You can hear what the Leeds United supporters think of that, as the throw-in is given to Leeds, who Bamford just knocks it away downfield for a goal kick for Manchester United.
There. He should have kicked it to the higher, did he? But he's kicked it out the corner flag and it's a goal kick.
Yeah, again, I'm sure that this was all part of the Leeds United game plan from their interim manager, Michael Skubala. His second match of the week against Manchester United after the 2-2 on Wednesday night. This time last week, he didn't know he was going to be standing down there in the Leeds United technical area, but Jesse Marsch sacked on Monday, and Manchester United now on the back foot against Leeds United, who've not beaten Manchester United here for over 20 years. Sabitzer heads it forward. Sancho knocks it infield into the centre circle to Fred, and Fred releases Rashford into the penalty now, cutting onto his right foot, still going, runs into the defender, goes down. Adams, Rashford stayed down. Leeds United clear, and Tyler Adams has a glare at Rashford for going down in the way that he did. Hopeful to think that would have been a penalty. Downfield for Leeds United. Shaw with a challenge on Bamford, and Fred now plays it for Weghorst. Shaw on the edge of their own Manchester United's box with Harry Maguire. It's the sort of match that, you know, if you take your eye off this, you could easily miss something. I certainly wouldn't rule out a red card in this second half for someone.
Yeah, I agree with that, John. It's on the fine edge at the minute. Two teams, a lot of respect. The atmosphere's electric.
There's applause down below for the Leeds United record signing
going on. Dib off.
Jorginho Rutter, who was signed under the Jesse Marsch regime just a couple of weeks ago for £36 million.
Yeah, I think he may go on for Bamford. He's looked very tired, Bamford, second off.
Leeds United 0, Manchester United 0. Leeds currently operating without their injured top scorer as well, Rodrigo, which is clearly a miss for them. Manchester United with Bruno Fernandes, he's caught there. He knocked the ball away. He knew Gnonto was coming, and he's been given the free kick, and he looks over his shoulder. Leeds United coaches are right behind him. I think there might have been a word or two from them as Adams slides in, ball back with Bruno Fernandes, who hits the ball all the way across field from right to left to Fred, and Fred running at Ayling, but Ayling comes out with the ball. Fred ends up on the ground, arms apart, sitting on the ground, wanted the free kick. Referee Tierney says no, play on. Ayling then carrying it forward to the halfway line, finds Harrison now speeding into the box, three men around him, and it's come off. I think Sabitzer behind for a corner to Leeds United, who did very well there to carry the ball forward.
Well, I think Leeds have got a little bit more tempo about them. They've got more fight at the minute than Man United. Man United are just trying to play too slow. There's no movement off the ball, and Leeds, they're not going to get a better opportunity to beat Man United, and he has a substitution, and it is Bamford.
Yes, Bamford makes way, and that means that the 20-year-old Frenchman, the club record signing, Jorginho Rutter, signed from Hoffenheim last month, will come on for what is his fourth appearance for Leeds, 3 times off the bench, but this is his home debut. This is the first time that Rutter has played here for Leeds United, and what an atmosphere, what a match to run into with just over half an hour to play. Longish hair, highlights on top.
Yeah, I like him. I've saw him a couple of times when he's had his game time a little bit, what he's had. You can tell he's technically very good.
A couple of goals for Hoffenheim this season, 8 last season. Well, here he is. It's corner. In it comes from Harrison, and it's headed over by Koch. In fact, it's come off a defender.
Come off Maguire, I think.
Yeah, 2 Manchester United men either side of him. Looked like Koch got there first, but referee Tierney said no, corner. So it's a second consecutive corner. That was from the right, this is from the left. And I think Eric Ten Hag is going to make a change.
Martinez.
Yeah, who's been spoken to. So it is a corner for Leeds from the left. Still 0-0. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Harrison waiting to take this, but referee Tierney blows his whistle because Luke Ayling and Weghorst are involved in a chat. Luke Ayling's looking over his shoulder. He's looking up at Weghorst, who's like one of those soldiers on the parade ground, Weghorst, who's being shouted at by a sergeant major. He didn't react at all. He just looked straight ahead as Luke Ayling was saying whatever he was saying to it. And now they started it again, and he's had to come across again. Fred's involved there as well. Ayling's still doing it. Corner, Harrison to the near post, hooked away by Fernandez. And Gnonto, though, on this left-hand side for Leeds, was underneath it. Harrison dances away from Sancho. He's on his right foot, plays it through. Deflection from Sabitzer was nearly fortunate for Leeds, but in the end Shaw's able to clear it away on the edge of the box. Manchester United could break here. Weghorst allows it to run to Rashford. Weghorst making ground through the middle, but Rashford in possession, plays it to Sancho, out to the right-hand side. Sancho back into Rashford, who just took a touch there that ran away from him, and so Leeds have got it back. Rutter runs into Dalot, bounces back to Rutter. Typical of the game that we've watched here. And now Leeds with it on the right-hand side. Ayling hits a pass right towards us, looking down from near the roof of the stand. Down on the pitch, and Gnonto runs at the Manchester United defence, uses Somerville. Somerville goes away on the left-hand side. Somerville didn't want to cross it with his left foot, waited, and the ball ran behind for a goal kick.
I'll tell you what, he does the hard things very well. To go past players is not easy, and he goes past players quite comfortably. Good change of pace, but his decision making is so poor for him. He's got to learn, because he has got the potential.
That is Crescencio Somerville, the young Dutchman. And Manchester United are going to bring on, as Chris mentioned, Lisandro Martinez, and Garnacho's coming on as well, so a double change for Manchester United. So Malacia is coming off, so Luke Shaw will presumably move across to left back, and that's it for Jadon Sancho on his first start since October, having been brought back in. Erik ten Hag deciding that today was the day to get him back in the starting lineup after scoring at the weekend. How do you think he's done, Jadon Sancho, Chris Waddle?
I don't think Man United's played particularly well, and I've got to say he's had a very, very quiet game. Not got involved enough for me, didn't look hungry enough on the ball, didn't want to take people on, didn't want to run with the ball, and this is the part of his game. That's why he's in the team.
So it is the 18-year-old Garnacho, who has now appeared in 19 consecutive Manchester United matches, and still very raw, still learning, but he's done a lot of good things already. So it is Garnacho and Martinez who are on for Manchester United, with Sancho and Malacia off the field. Leeds United 0, Manchester United 0. Let's go back to Twickenham for another update from Sonia McLaughlin.
Yeah, it's still England 7, Italy 0, but Italy 5 metres out from the England line. They've been making some inroads. A break down the left from Sebastian Negri, a little dart from the wizard that is Ange Capuzzo at fullback. England are having to defend here. It's England 7, Italy 0.
And you can listen to that on Sports Extra on your digital radio via BBC Sounds. 0-0 here at Elland Road, under grey skies in West Yorkshire, but a hot atmosphere. Shaw now back at left back. Martinez, left-footed ball across field into the path of Bruno Fernandes. Rashford making the run to the right-hand side of the box. Rashford in possession. Leeds United have got two players with him. Still Rashford, then Sabitzer just stabs it back to Dalot. Right-footed ball into the back post. That's headed away by Koch. Comes out to Shaw. Shaw just got a foot to it first. Now Garnacho into the box on the left-hand side. Lays it to the edge of the area. Fred is there. Square from Fred. Dalot with a shot. Hits the bar. And rebounds away to the edge of the area. It had bend on it. It might have just flicked the head of the defender actually under the crossbar, but it bounced out and away, and it's a throw.
Great move, Man United. That was the first time, that was we're done with pace. That was a good tempo. They're moving the ball quickly. There's more life about them, and it's a terrific shot. I know it was a deflection. Oh, nowhere the goalkeeper, nowhere near it.
No, he was just watching it like those goalkeepers back at World Cup 78. Do you remember that, Chris? Goals flying in and goalkeepers not moving a muscle. But I think it did just flick the head of the defender. However, that's an escape for Leeds United. Still 0-0. Almost 20 minutes played. in the second half here at Elland Road. In the Six Nations, England 7, Italy 0 remains the score. And commentary to come on Manchester City against Aston Villa after the extraordinary week that Manchester City have had. Maguire's put under pressure, falling, passes it out of play on the halfway line, and it's a throw-in for Leeds United. Junior Firpo is going to take this. Junior Firpo, the former Barcelona man. You'll hear Manchester United's match in the new camp on Thursday night. It is an early kick-off that. It's on 5 Live Thursday night, 5:45. Really big week of football commentaries coming up, including Wednesday night, 5 Live, the place to listen to Arsenal against Manchester City. But we've got Milan against Tottenham on Tuesday, Borussia Dortmund against Chelsea on Sports Extra on Wednesday night as well. So join us through the week. Manchester United with Fred on the edge of the area, goes for goal, left foot shot, had a swing at it, but it flew away over the ankle.
It's a little bit like the first half, this, John, isn't it, where Leeds started very brightly and you thought, yeah, they're on top. Man United came into the game the last second half of the first half, and then this half it's been all Leeds. In the last five minutes, Man United have found a bit of space, a bit of quality.
Manchester United, who after that defeat at Arsenal are 5 matches unbeaten again, whereas Leeds United are on an 8-match run without a win in the Premier League. And the ball is back with De Gea. An 8-match run without a win that cost Jesse Marsch his job. Even though there were some very creditable draws during the course of that run, they need wins in the position that they're in. Ball forward towards Rutter through the middle. Turns away from Shaw, 25 yards out, approaching the area, gives it to Gnonto on the left-hand side. And Gnonto, gloves on, long sleeves, takes on Dalot, beats him, pulls it across towards the penalty spot, but pulled it across right into the path of Weghorst, who was back in there to control and clear away. Leeds come again, attacking towards the Revy stand, the packed Revy stand, and Gnonto moving in from the left-hand side. He's on his right foot, he shoots straight at De Gea, who catches the ball into his chest.
Yeah, it's a comfortable save, but good spell by Leeds there. They've actually put Rashford up front. Weghorst is sort of playing behind him, and Fernandes is actually playing on his right-hand side now.
Yeah, not unusual for Fernandes to be on the right-hand side, but Weghorst, this is what Erik ten Hag, when he signed Weghorst, and actually had the chance to speak to him about it, and he said Weghorst brings something to my team, my squad.
He said he brings him up the field, doesn't he? He said he brings him up the field because he goes pressing and they follow him up the field.
So there he is, Burnley last season, Besiktas at the start of this season, now Manchester United, and playing as the number 10 with Christian Eriksen out injured, Casemiro suspended.
Biggest number 10 ever.
Good touch for a big man. Long and forward for Manchester United to Rashford, takes it down on the edge of the box, reverses the pass to Garnacho, and then Ayling puts in the challenge and cleverly played it into Garnacho, and it bounced through off the Manchester United youngster for a goal kick.
Great run by Rashford. I can see why they put him up front, because he's got the legs on the 2 centre-halves of Leeds, but he's getting a bit sloppy with his little back heel. It was never going to get there, was it?
So goal kick, and we've got a quarter of the match to go. Still 0-0. Maguire's given it away. He's passed it into the path of McKennie, but Fred was able to get a touch on that, and Maguire actually after that has then stepped forward, taken the ball and carried it halfway inside the Leeds United half. However, Manchester United lose possession, and now Maguire is out of position, but Rutter wins a throw-in off Martinez on the far side, so it is a throw into Leeds United. Chris Waddle.
I'm just watching McKennie there. He made a terrific run, didn't get the ball, slipped, and I think he's got a touch of cramp. Be interested to keep an eye on him.
So 0-0. Still 7-0 to England in the Six Nations. That's on Sports Extra. Ball played over the top for Leeds United, headed away by Martinez, and then Bruno Fernandes with a touch through to Weghorst, who tries to play it with the outside of his boot through the inside left position, but Ayling moved across and prevented it from running through to Garnacho, and now Ayling tidies up, plays it back to Meslier, who's passed forward. Dalot beats and Gnonto in the air. Junior Firpo in with a challenge, comes out with the ball against Fred and is now running across field diagonally, and his pass through to Somerville, who looks to cross it, but Luke Shaw stepped in, got a foot to it, to deflect it behind for a Leeds United corner.
No, Firpo was allowed to run a long way without anybody fronting him up, trying to tackle him. Goes to one tackle with Fred, who should have won it, should have been stronger. And it was the right idea. Somerville makes it terrific, but Luke Shaw just reads it at the last second. It's another corner.
Corner for Leeds United. So Rutter's in the 6-yard box. Ayling arrives. Koch, Verba there as well, and also McKennie. So 3 players on the edge of the 6-yard box, 2 inside for Leeds. Harrison swings it into the near post. Rutter flicks it on to the back post. Overhead kick from Ayling, but straight at De Gea, who was able to catch it into his chest. That would have been a spectacular one for Luke Ayling at Ellen Road.
Yep, it was. He read it very well, didn't he? But luckily enough for Man United and De Gea, it was straight on him.
Yeah, scored against them last season, but that was in the 5-1 defeat at Old Trafford last season.
It was a right goal, wasn't it?
It was. Manchester United won 4-2 here in the reverse fixture, but no goals today after the 2-2 on Wednesday night. Very, very rare for 2 teams to play each other twice in the Premier League in the space of 5 days. Here's Sabitzer forward to Maguire, and back it comes into the Manchester United half. 20 minutes to go, and then we'll start the build-up to Manchester City against Aston Villa. And in fact, Vicky Sparks, you've got the team news.
Kevin De Bruyne is back in the starting lineup as City make 4 changes. Diaz, Laporte and Gundogan also come in. Out go Akanji, Ake, Lewis and Alvarez, all on the bench along with Foden. Looks as though Rodri will play at centre-half. No Tyrone Mings for Villa, not in the squad. Chambers replaces him in the visitors' only alteration.
Thank you, Vicky. So Ruben Diaz back in the Manchester City
big miss
team. Strange one, isn't it? But prefers others. But commentary to come. Maguire has passed it straight to Somerville. Somerville forward to Rutter, who's on the right-hand side. Rutter now turns up against Martinez, and Martinez is in, Shaw's in as well. And Somerville very nearly nicked it away, and Wan-Bissaka's waiting to come on the edge of the coaching area as Shaw chips it up towards Rashford. Going back to Twickenham in a moment for Manchester United. Playing the ball in from the left-hand side. Weghorst out on the left wing now. Couldn't find the pass to Garnacho. Rutter through the middle. Rutter loses out after being challenged by Martinez, and the Argentine, one of the World Cup winning squad, turns it back to Harry Maguire. So to Twickenham, Sonia McLaughlin.
Yeah, well, we've had another try for the England forwards, this time to the lock, Ollie Chesham. It was another line-out drive that eventually led to the big lock going over. Jack Willis with the first, Ollie Chesham with the second. It's England 12, Italy 0. Italy have also lost their captain, Michele Lamaro. Going well for England.
Thank you, Sonia. Commentary on Sports Extra. Here's Luke Shaw on the left-hand side, playing the ball back into his own half. Leeds United 0, Manchester United 0 on this 5 Live Premier League Sunday. Forward from Sabitzer. And Leeds are going to make a change as well. Brendan Aronson's going to come on for them, as he did on Wednesday night. Rutter with a challenge on Weghorst, who goes sprawling down and wins the free kick. There'll be no more than that. So straight swap for Manchester United. Diogo Dalot is off, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who missed the game in midweek because of illness, replaces him. And for Leeds United, Aronson is going to come on for Harrison, as he did the other evening.
Yep.
Owen Farrell converted for England there, and that is 14-0 now to England against Italy in the Six Nations. Great ovation for Jack Harrison, who's been cheered off the field. So Aronson will come on. So it's all American now, isn't it, in the middle, with Adams and McKennie and Brendan Aronson. And it is still 0-0. Brendan Aronson, who I remember scoring against Chelsea here early in the season. That was a rousing win for Leeds United at that stage. And they outplayed Chelsea that day in the latter days of Thomas Tuchel. You wouldn't have thought on that they'd be sacking their manager and struggling down the bottom end of the Premier League. Manchester United with Maguire just rolling the ball out to Wan-Bissaka on the right hand side. Weghorst appeared on the right wing now, Chris. He's
got a free roll now.
He's turned into Neymar. Yeah. Here's Adams to McKennie, and then Adams again passing it back. Verba digs the pass forward, and Gnonto allows it to bounce, but in goes Wan-Bissaka and does exactly what he's been doing since he got himself back into the Manchester United team, defending well. He was tight on Gnonto.
He's played very well since he got back in.
He has. And Gnonto, that chance that Gnonto had, maybe 5-6 minutes ago, when he cut in from the left and shot straight at the goalkeeper. That's the best we've seen from him today. It's been relatively quiet. Throw-in taken for Leeds United, bounces back across the box. Maguire's able to clear it, got right underneath it, right-footed. Koch comes across, heads it down into the onto the left wing, and Gnonto flicks it infield away from Sabitzer, but Fred did well for Manchester United, dispossessed Aronson just into the game, and then up it goes to Weghorst, who chests it down nicely, and then as he plays it to the Manchester United right, Junior Firpo can come back across again. I mean, there's no space in this game. It has been full-blooded, full-throated all the way through, right from the kick-off, but no goals.
I just think Man United played too slow, John. They've not asked enough questions. They've passed it around at the back. They've invited Leeds on, and Leeds have took a lot of balls off Man United in good areas, and they haven't punished them, and they could have.
That's Chris Waddle. This is 5 Live. Maguire now hitting a long pass out towards the left-hand side. Shaw's able to get it down, chest it down, but in comes the challenge from Ayling. Shaw's saying it went out of play. The assistant says no, it didn't. Ayling passes it forward to Rutter. Rutter's low pass to the left-hand side to Gnonto, and Gnonto running at Wan-Bissaka, coming in field. Square from him to McKennie. Now back to Ayling, back to Gnonto in the D, into the box now, but taking it wider to the far side of the penalty area and out into the full-back position, being chased there by Martinez. And then he finds the pass to Somerville. Ayling still involved in this on the right-hand side for Leeds. Then passes it back towards Adams. And now Ayling again, and Gnonto's over there, but Gnonto, it comes to an end with Gnonto, who passed it into the Manchester United man Shaw, and Manchester United can get it away closer to the halfway line, although it's very, very congested, and Fred has passed it down into his own left back position, where Shaw, under pressure from Somerville, could only turn it out for a throw into Leeds United on the far side. Less than 15 minutes to play. Still Leeds United 0, Manchester United 0. And the home support here, all of these Yorkshire voices, are hoping, praying for a goal. Winning this match be so valuable for Leeds, who are just 1 point above the relegation zone and go to Goodison Park to play Sean Dyche's Everton next Saturday afternoon. Manchester United long and forward. Melia comes out of the penalty area and heads it, even though Verba was right there, and there wasn't a Manchester United man there. Leeds though with Gnonto, and Gnonto gets the ball down. You've got Somerville ahead of him to his right, still Gnonto, and trying to clip it across. Fred jumped in, dived in front of him and blocked it out for a throw.
Well, you look at football, John, and defensively both teams have done very well. Midfield very competitive. You're looking for that bit of magic from the strikers on show today, and we've not saw enough. They've been in good positions, a lot of players, but the final ball's been poor, the final shot, decision making's been poor in the final third, both teams.
And if anyone can recognise magic, it's Magic Chris, as Leeds pick it up through Somerville, who shoots across goal, but David De Gea, I'm not sure it was on target, but De Gea from that very tight angle was able to stick out the right foot. He loves to save with his feet, doesn't he, De Gea? But that was effective, and he was able to deflect it with that save across the box and away.
Somerville's done very well today, I've got to say. As I said, I think once he starts learning, hopefully the penny will drop with him, because he's got a lot of talent. If he can get his decision making right, the Leeds will have a very good player on the hand.
I don't know, over the years, decades that you and I have worked together, how many times I've heard you say that about wingers. Decisions. forward for Leeds, but offside against Somerville.
Well, it is. I mean, the young players, obviously, they're in the first team, and this is where you get judged. And you've got to say, some of the approach play has been excellent, but final decisions, wow.
Still 0-0, possibly the second draw in 5 days. Be 2 good points, wouldn't they, for Michael Skubala in his 2 matches as the Leeds United interim manager. I know he's put another couple of youngsters on the bench today. One of the January arrivals, Diogo Montero, who's a young defender, and Jeremiah Mullen, Leeds-born, 18-year-old Scotland Youth International, on the bench for the first time for Leeds. Sabitzer coming forward, playing the ball out towards the left-hand side. Shaw plays it across. Rashford with a header on the edge of the 6-yard box, and Manchester United take the lead. And it is Marcus Rashford yet again, and off he goes to celebrate in front of the Manchester United fans after scoring what is his 13th goal in 15 appearances for United since the World Cup. And actually, a number of the Manchester United fans have poured over the advertising hoardings there and are having to be held back by the orange and yellow jacketed stewards, and it's all got rather excited down there after the sight of that. But what a header that was, meeting the cross from Shaw, back of the net. Leeds United 0, Manchester United 1.
Well, I'm not saying we've had the best performance by Marcus Rashford today. He's not really been on it. Is the offside? VAR's looking at it. Oh, it's going to be close. It's a great ball in by Shaw, and as you say, John, great header. Totally focuses on the ball. I think he's all right.
They are looking at it, and it's on the screens now, possible offside, so Leeds United fans hoping against hope. I hope today they get the lines right when they're drawing them, unlike yesterday. They cannot afford to get this one wrong. VAR, Michael Salisbury it is. Everything's calmed down in the stands, incidentally, as far as I can see to my right, but we've got the screen to our left, and this is very close. It's whether the t-shirt line, it's onside, it's been called as onside, the goal will stand, and Marcus Rashford has just scored his 21st of the season for his club, and there is the indication. The goal is given, groans from the Leeds fans, celebrations from the Manchester United supporters down in their section, and it is Leeds United 0, Manchester United 1.
It's a great header, great ball in, great header. He's timed it perfect, hasn't he? Free header, what is he, 7-8 yards out, great header. They've got no chance in the goal saving that, and you can probably say it's been against the run of play. You've got to say Leeds have probably dominated the second half so far, but a bit of quality, and that's what we're talking about. That was a cross of pure quality by Shaw, and a wonderful header by Rashford.
Yeah, it was, arriving at pace, but still able to direct it into the top right corner. Melia was nowhere near it. Super goal by a player who is in hot form. Leeds United 0, Manchester United 1. Let's get the latest from Twickenham, from Sonia McLaughlin.
Where it's England 14, Italy 0. We've had a huge groan from the crowd because England scored a fabulous try, but it's been ruled out by the television match official for crossing in the build-up. Lovely little dummy and step off his right foot from Max Malins, the winger, inside to Jack Van Poortvliet, who scored, but no try. England, though, are on top here. It's England 14, Italy 0.
Thank you, Sonia. That is on Sports Extra. Marcus Rashford, who's now scored in 3 consecutive matches. Again, another streak that he's on. Scored the first Manchester United goal against Leeds on Wednesday.
You would say he's had a quiet game. He had a quiet game the other night as well, but he scores, and this is what he won. You know, in that final third, you need somebody who can put the ball in the net, and Leeds haven't got that, obviously, but Man United have.
Yeah, more goals than Harry Kane for his club this season, Marcus Rashford, although not as many in the Premier League. That's his 12th in the Premier League this season, but he's a man transformed, Chris Rashford.
He is.
Remember when we were talking about him this time last season?
Yeah, he just didn't look interested, let's be honest. He had, he'd lost his appetite for the game for me, but
got it back.
He's got it back. Boy, has he got it back. He can't stop scoring.
And in actual fact, I suspect that with hindsight, if Gareth Southgate knew what was going to happen after the World Cup and the run that he went on, I suspect Marcus Rashford might have started more than one match at the World Cup for England. Leeds now looking at scenario where a draw would be a great point, and Manchester United coming forward, Wan-Bissaka playing it across the penalty area, but Leeds are able to clear, and back to Sonia because
we do have a third try for England, another catch and drive. Jamie George at the end of it all, plopping over the line, the England hooker. Steve Borthwick will be loving this. The England scrums, line-out, driving mauls are on top. It's England 19, Italy 0. Farrell has missed the conversion.
Commentary on Sports Extra here on 5 Live. Leeds United 0, Manchester United 1. Marcus Rashford scoring in the last 10 minutes of the match. And here's Garnacho now, and Garnacho is away, and Garnacho shoots in from the angle, clipped the inside of the post, and it's win. It's 2-0 to Manchester United, and Garnacho has doubled their lead, and it's 3 points today for Manchester United here at Elland Road. And again, Garnacho has run towards the Manchester United fans, who are again spilling over the hoardings there, and that's a little naive, I must say. I know it's a great moment, he's excited, it's a big goal, it's won the match probably for Manchester United, but it's caused the supporters there who just can't contain themselves, and I think everyone is okay, but there are still supporters over the top of the hoardings down there and having to be put back into the stands. However, Garnacho has
turn of pace, couldn't catch him. No, he didn't have to do any tricks. Great touch, and I feel from that, he got his hand, his fingertips to it, he pushes it onto the post, doesn't come out, goes in, and terrific pace.
He's a great talent, isn't he, Garnacho, at 18 years old. I mean, the angle was tight-ish, as you say. He was effectively beaten at his near post, but it was well struck, and with that touch, clipped the near post as well into the net, and Alejandro Garnacho enjoys the moment. So McKennie to be replaced by young Sam Greenwood, another of the Leeds United youngsters they've got high hopes for, but I'm afraid this game is gone. For all of the way that Leeds have competed in this match, Manchester United with a couple of sucker punches, I think 81 and 85 or thereabouts, the timings of the two goals.
Yeah. Listen, you feel for Leeds, they've given everything, as they always do. You can't really ever fault Leeds for the way they work ethic and the way they play, but they just lack decisions. You know, they've got young players, and then when they get in that final third, John, the way it all counts, right, and they just make the wrong decisions, unfortunately.
So there is suddenly a rather subdued atmosphere amongst the home supporters inside Elland Road, and it is Manchester United who are right on top now. Two moments like that, just taking the game away from two informed players. Where is the attendance? 36,919. Always one of the most popular fixtures of the season. Leeds United fans, if it's not the first match that they look for when the fixtures come out, it's not far short of that. But 80 and 85 the timings of the two goals for Rashford and Garnacho. Free kick for Leeds on the right hand side, but it's a vain hope now that they're going to get anything out of this. Greenwood to take this free kick, and it comes. Verba was after it, bounced down, he got a head to it, I think, bounced down, and Manchester United put it behind. It is half-time at Twickenham, Sonia.
It is, where it's England 19, Italy 0. I think Steve Borthwick, the England head coach, will be quietly purring his forwards on top here. The scrum, the line-out, his area of expertise, the driving maul have all borne dividends for England. Tries for Jack Willis, Ollie Chesham and Jamie George. One sensational move from the back, set up by Max Malins, finished by Jack Van Poortvliet, ruled out by the television match official for crossing. Italy have got their work cut out here. England very much on top. England 19, Italy 0.
Leeds took the corner, it found its way to Aronson, left side of the box, a packed penalty area, went for goal. It hit a defender and deflected wide, but there's a suggestion.
Listen, I don't think he knows anything about it. He's got his hands down by his side, they've obviously passed it. It's in his hands.
Yep, so no penalty. Another Leeds United corner. Verba got his head to that as well, but was falling away, and as a result, Wan-Bissaka clears. Fred doesn't get it away though. across from the left-hand side by Firpo. Shouts again that might have been a shout for a penalty for Leeds, but Manchester United break away downfield. Bruno Fernandes now to Garnacho again, right side of the box. Garnacho onto his left foot, shoots, that's deflected. Defenders were able to get back in there, and Sabitzer now is beaten to it by Koch, who was just able to cackle it away to the halfway line, but that could easily have been 3.
Well, Garnacho, he wisely hit it with his right foot. He's coming onto it. It's a lovely way to pass.
Now Fernandes on the left-hand side goes for goal at the near post, and Meslier is able to gather it. It just squirmed out of his grasp, but he was able to grab it at the second attempt with Rashford very close to it. But 2-0.
Yeah, Gareth should have hit it with his right foot. He didn't. He tried to get it up his left and come back. It missed the opportunity there. But Leeds, they've run out of steam, haven't they? They always put so much effort in. They don't see the last 90 minutes at the tempo they play at, and they just want to see this game through.
Yeah. So 2-0 Manchester United lead. 2 weeks today, you'll hear it on 5 Live. The much anticipated Carabao Cup final. Bruno Fernandes playing the ball forward to Rashford. Rashford shoots across goal and in. But the offside flag is up, and this goal is ruled out, and it stays at 2-0.
Well, he's bringing another sub on us now. Ten Hag, he's bringing Alanga on. That may be for Rashford.
Well, they go to Barcelona on Thursday, as I say.
It's only a minute, so
don't want anything happening to the precious one.
Well, it was a great finish that as well, but I just saw a replay of it, bottom corner, but offside. VAR, he is offside though, I think. Yep, looking at it, I think he's just offside.
No, well, they are having a look.
Yep.
And I mean, it does look offside. It does look offside.
I think he is.
They don't want any slips today though, after yesterday's events, Chris. And it's not been confirmed as offside yet.
Look, he looks off to me.
Well, he does. Oh, hang on.
Oh,
offside. Yeah, it is given offside.
Yep.
Right, so you can scrub that from your memory banks.
Rashford off.
And it is. That's it for Rashford. He'll be booed off by the Leeds United fans, but he's clapping the Manchester United fans. And he has returned to hero status, Marcus Rashford. A year ago, we didn't know where he was going, but Rash the Flash is back and scoring in virtually every game that he plays. And as I say, that is now 21 for the season, and his personal best is 22 in a season for his club. So one would think that he will go past that, and with these games against Barcelona, 2 games against Barcelona, they're at home to Leicester next Sunday. That's a 5 Live commentary match, and then the cup final against Newcastle United a fortnight today. Wednesday night, don't miss it. 5 Live, the place to listen to Arsenal against Manchester City, as Martinez hits a long pass downfield, but that will just bounce out of play. We're into added time, 4 minutes of added time. Leeds United 0, Manchester United 2. We're not too far away, just over half an hour, 40 minutes or thereabout. Commentary on Manchester City against Aston Villa. We will have 606 with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton tonight. Read all about it on the football pages of the BBC Sport website. Match of the Day 2 and the Women's Football Show on BBC One tonight. And anytime on the iPlayer, as Bruno Fernandes will play the ball forward, but it's blocked away, and Gnonto. But the game has gone now for Leeds United. And Manchester United coming forward, and a sliding challenge comes in from Verba to put it out of play for Manchester United's ball. It is a corner. Bruno Fernandes is in no hurry with a 2-0 lead. Gaps appearing now all the way around the ground. Looking across to the Jack Charlton stand on the far side, the East stand. Whenever I see that stand, I always think back to when it was sponsored by a butter company. Here's Bruno Fernandes on the right. Takes this corner and outswing it at the edge of the 6-yard box, which is headed goalwards, then bounces down. Maguire was there. Weghorst in the 6-yard box, puts it in the net, but the flag is up, and Weghorst is denied his first Premier League goal for Manchester United. There is lots of wagging of fingers going on.
Well,
so
looking at it, he's offside.
Does appear to be offside.
Definitely.
So while they go through the process, Meslier will just wait with the ball in his hands. So they're watching it again, waiting to draw the lines. We will, of course, round everything up in the 5 Live Football Daily podcast, which you can download as ever from BBC Sounds, and also new on BBC Sounds, Jermaine Defoe's new podcast, Outside the Box, a fly on the wall podcast. And all you do, download the Sounds app and hit subscribe. And the decision is about to be given.
Be off.
Still waiting for it to be given. Yep, there it is. Goal is ruled out. Leeds United 0, Manchester United 2. Maguire heading the ball forward for Manchester United. Good win this for Manchester United. Contest,
it is a good win.
Been a contest.
Yeah, it's very good. They've rode the luck. Leeds second half had a 20-minute spell where, as I say, the decision making, and Man United have got that.
Cleared away at the back by Harry Maguire. Manchester United, as I mentioned, won here in the Premier League last season. The first time since the 70s that Manchester United have won 2 consecutive league matches against Leeds here at Elland Road. And what it means is that they will be above Manchester City. So Manchester United will be in second place, 1 point above Manchester City, albeit having played 2 more matches. But there they are, for the time being at least. Manchester United are second in the Premier League after a very good 2-0 win here against spirited, battling, competitive Leeds United. But Rashford and Garnacho produced the quality in the goals late on.
That was the difference, John. The quality, the build-up into the goals, the deliveries, the crosses, the final third, the composure. Leeds didn't have that. They've got effort. You cannot fault Leeds' attitude and work rate. Tremendous. But probably lacking in experience. And when they do get into positions, they make the wrong decision, where Manchester United don't. And that is why they're second.
And Leeds, they need Rodrigo back, don't they? They need the goal scorer.
Yeah,
that's what they need to get away from where they are. But now, just above the relegation zone, they will go away to Everton next Saturday. The team just below them, just below the dotted line. But Leeds United's supporters now inside Elland Road, those who are still here, are going to applaud that effort that Chris Waddle has described from their players. But it's Manchester United's afternoon. They've got the points. Leeds 0, Manchester United 2.
Chris, I remember Marcus Rashford scoring another header. It was a header against West Ham just before the World Cup, and I remember you saying that'll book his ticket to the World Cup. The idea now that it could even be in question that this guy would be playing for England is madness. 13 goals in 15 games since the World Cup. Is he better than just back? Is he now at his best?
I think what you're seeing is he's a very confident lad, and I think he lost that sort of belief, confidence, whatever he had going through his life. It looked like he wasn't really interested in the game, to be perfectly honest, and he seems to have come back, and he's come back unbelievably, and we always knew his ability to score goals, and I think that's what he's scoring goals. I wouldn't say his performance are outstanding. He picks the ball. He hasn't really done things today with the football where you think, wow, but he scored a goal, and again, that'll look at the headline and say he scored again. And if he's scoring goals, you'll get the headlines. But he is super confident. You see, he's trying things when he gets the ball. He looks super confident on it, and that's all good for England and Man United, obviously. So he's definitely back. He's a player who, every game now, you think who's going to score? Rashford will score, and it's simple as that now. You think he's going to score all the time.
I think, John, it's also worth saying that there are countless examples, if you look back over the years, of players who have 1 or 2 or 3 great seasons, and for whatever reason they lose it. Getting it back is rare.
I think you have to look towards Erik ten Hag's appointment, because there was disruption last season. Who knows what was going on behind the scenes? And as we mentioned frequently last season, do remember that he had that shoulder operation, and he'd missed the start of the season. He didn't look the same player. The suspicion was that he maybe wasn't as fit. He just wasn't right. Maybe there was that mental side as well that Chris is talking about. But they've got all their, however it's happened, they've got all the ducks in a row again. And he is now back, as I say, he's back to Rash the Flash, who emerged as a teenager and who was a genuinely exciting talent.
I'm not sure if Marvel will be knocking on the door for the copyright to that particular superhero name, John.
Well, who knows? There's, in the modern media world, it's full of surprises.
Leeds could do with a hero, a goal-scoring hero, Chris. I think that, we know the problem with Rodrigo's injury. They've got Bamford, they've got the record signing Rutter. Thus far, no sign of either of them replacing those goals.
No, Bamford's still coming back from a long layoff, isn't he? And he looked tired the second half today. Doesn't look like he doesn't look like he's got that sharpness back yet, which is obviously Leeds need to produce that. You can't fault their attitude and their willingness to cover the ground, put the foot in, make the tempo hot, ask questions of teams. You know, unfortunately, you're relying on young players. The two wingers, what age are them? 2019s. You know, you're asking them to do a job in the Premier League, which you need experience. And I just feel for them because they're getting great positions. The decision making in the final pass, final shot, final decision, what they make is poor at the minute. And it may come, but they need it to come quick because Leeds, unfortunately, are not getting results.
Well, you know, the chief executive, Angus Kinnear, says in the programme today in his column that they are well advanced in their efforts to get a new manager in. I'm not sure when he wrote that, but you know, clearly they've been rebuffed several times by people. But you would have to say that they could really do before Goodison Park next Saturday, and they go there on a 9-match run without a win in the Premier League, which is the longest run they've been on of that nature since returning to the Premier League. You know, it would perhaps have a different feel to it if there was a new manager in place for that match.